America, to me, is truly the greatest country on earth. It is freedom and liberty, and the knowledge that that freedom and liberty is pretty doggone secure.
America means a place where I can live and use my God-given rights.
It's the country where people come to achieve their goals and be what they want to be.
America means creativity. It means the ability to sustain yourself, to preserve yourself, and to take care of yourself and your family.
America, to me, is a grand experiment in human government and governance. The finest example and the best experiment that has ever taken place in history.
Corruption. Massive corruption.
I think there's a tremendous amount of divisiveness, and it breaks my heart to see how divided people are on race and politics and all these other things.
I think there's a lot of paranoia, there's mistrust, and there's hatred.
People have become complacent and wanted our governments to run everything and depend on other people to do things for them.
Left is farther left and right is farther right now in the United States, and that a lot of American citizens view each other with suspicion and in many cases hostility.
I am involved in local politics, and while it might be the Republican side of things, it is still something that I feel very strongly about. What can I do to try to help with this divisiveness?
It's important that we get out and vote, and we let our opinions be known. Instead of being silent, we have things to say.
Personally, I am preparing myself the best I can, and I help other people prepare themselves to stand up to the moment where we will be called upon to help others.
I scream from the mountaintops, figuratively speaking, and I do everything I can to convince anyone who will listen. I am one of those people who will try to talk someone out of his or her vote.
I'm a prepper, and what I do is I work with other families and other people that are the same way and that think the same way, that are trying to take care of and secure their families for the future.
Ken and Jonna Bradway recently cashed out of the stock market and invested in gold and silver. They have stockpiled food and ammunition in the event of a total economic collapse or some other calamity commonly known around here as the end of the world as we know it, or SHTF, the day something hits the fan. The Bradways fled California, a state they said is run by leftists and non-constitutionalists and anti-freedom people, and settled on several wooded acres of North Idaho 5 years ago. They live among like-minded conservative neighbors, host Monday night Bible study around their fire pit, hike in the mountains and fish from their boat. They meld lead to make their own bullets for sport shooting and hunting, or to defend themselves against marauders in a world-ending cataclysm. I'm not paranoid, I'm really not. But we're prepared. If and when it hits the fan. Don Bradway, 68, above, who left California 5 years ago and settled with his wife, Jonna, on several wooded acres of North Idaho. I'm not paranoid, I'm really not, said Bradway, 68, a cheerful Army veteran with a bushy handlebar mustache, who favors Hawaiian shirts. But we're prepared. Anybody who knows us knows that Don and Jonna are prepared if and when it hits the fan. The Bradways are among the vanguard, moving to an area of the Pacific Northwest known as the American Redoubt, a term coined in 2011 by survivalist author and blogger James Wesley Rawls. The comma is deliberate, to describe a settlement of the God-fearing in a lightly populated territory that includes Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and the eastern parts of Washington and Oregon. Those migrating to the redoubt are some of the most motivated members of what is known as the Prepper movement, which advocates readiness and self-reliance in man-made or natural disasters that could create instability for years. It's scenario planning that is gaining adherence and becoming mainstream in what redoubt preppers described as an era of fear and uncertainty. See source, survivalblog.com, National Atlas. They are anxious about recent terrorist attacks from Paris to San Bernardino, California, to Orlando. Pandemics such as Ebola in West Africa. Potential nuclear attacks from increasingly provocative countries such as North Korea or Iran. And the growing political, economic and racial polarization in the United States that has deepened during the 2016 presidential election. Nationally, dozens of online prepper suppliers report an increase in sales of items from water purifiers to hand-cranked radios to solar-powered washing machines. Harvest Right, a Utah company that invented a $3,000 portable freeze dryer to preserve food, has seen sales grow from about 80 a month 2 years ago to more than 900 a month now, said spokesman Stephanie Barlow. Clyde Scott, owner of Rising S Bunkers, said pre-made, blast-proof underground steel bunkers are in big demand, including his most popular model, which sleeps 6 to 8 people and sells for up to $150,000. Anybody with a peanut-sized brain, he said, can see that the U.S. economy is in perilous shape because of the national debt, the decline of American manufacturing, and the size of the welfare rolls. Some people worry about hurricanes, earthquakes or forest fires. Others fear a nuclear attack or solar flare that creates an electromagnetic pulse that knocks out the nation's electric grid and all computers, sending the country into darkness and chaos, perhaps forever. The list is long. The concerns are many, said Glenn Martin, who lives in North Idaho and runs Prepper Broadcasting Network, an online radio station. Imagine a societal collapse and trying to buy a loaf of bread in Los Angeles or New York and stores are closed down. Martin's programming emphasizes gardening, farming and how-to shows about sustainable living more than doom and gloom, he said, and his audience has grown from 50,000 listeners a month 2 years ago to about 250,000 a month now. Online interest in Prepper and American Redoubt websites is increasing. Tools that measure online readership show that monthly search traffic to Rawls's survivalblog.com has doubled since 2011. An estimate from SimilarWeb, a web analytics firm, shows that the site had about 862,000 total visits last month. Rawls's guidebook, How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It, and his post-apocalyptic survival novel, Patriots, have sold about 350,000 copies, according to Nielsen Bookscan. They are among hundreds of available survivalist books,